Hey guys, it's Ozzy Moore with your education station. Today we're talking about bridging the educational gaps with work study programs. And today we have Jason from Cristo Rey St. Viator School. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, good. So talk to me about what's your title? What do you do at Cristo Rey?
Great question. The actual official title is the Director of Business Partnerships. So my responsibility is to work with businesses in the communities to find placement for our student workers. So every one of our students goes to work one day a week throughout the school year. So our seniors go to school on Monday, sophomores Tuesday, juniors Wednesday, freshmen Thursday, and then they rotate every Friday. So that first week of school, when it hits, we hit the ground running and they're off to work one day a week.
That's amazing. They're getting that experience, real life experience, workforce,
Absolutely. Yes,
right?
yes, yeah. And we train them up, right? We're not just going to drop them in untrained. We just completed a 2.5 week course for all incoming students, and basically giving them the skills to go into an office and understand how to work with workplace etiquette and so on. So we're excited. Yeah, we're excited about the next school year starting.
Now, I know you mentioned your work study program. What else makes Cristo Rey St. Viator so unique compared to other schools across the valley?
Another great question. So we are a private Catholic high school. You do not have to be Catholic to attend school there. We basically cater, we are in North Las Vegas, and we cater to low income families. So there's a vetting process based upon household income. And based upon that household income, they will pay no more than $250 a month, no less than $25 a month for an education that they're really just not going to receive anywhere else. Our class sizes are 15 to 1. We have last year we had a total of 252 students, and it's a heck of a program. It's a diamond in the rough, is what I refer to.
Right. It's a very unique school with a lot of opportunities. How do you guys know which families qualify to attend these schools? Is there an application process, I assume?
There is. So there's an application process, and what we're really focused on is what we're saying internally 10 from 10. So our 10 closest schools within our range of where we are located at, which we're on like North Las Vegas Boulevard, almost to Cheyenne, we're trying to pull 10 students from each of those schools as incoming freshman classes. So that's our goal. We can max out at 400 total students. So our ultimate goal is to bring in 100 every incoming class as we move forward.
Let's talk about the corporate work study program in general for students. What's the benefit for students overall? And I'm not just talking about the students at Cristo Rey, but students across the valley.
Certainly, and that's a great question. So the corporate work study program offers them the opportunity like I said, go to work. And in our case at Cristo Rey St. Viator, that means that what they're doing in the workplace helps to supplement their education. So the money they earn pays for their education at Cristo Rey. But what you can't put the price tag on are the skills that they're learning, right? They're building mentorships. They're learning how to work on projects. I mean, we have students that work for gaming companies in their marketing department that have developed, marketing schemes with them. We have students in IT, cybersecurity, admin, and it's these soft skills that they learn now, right? And they're also
Right.
not only learning those skills, but then they're also big picture of things. They're figuring out what field they want to go into when they do attend college and what they want to study. I'll give one example. We had a student a couple of years back that was really hyper focused on becoming a lawyer. He spent a year and a half in the corporate work study program at a law firm and realized, hey, that's not for me. Super proud to say he's attending Stanford Medical School right now as we speak,
Wow,
and he's
it's
going to become a
amazing.
doctor. So yeah, it's really incredible because I mean, I wish they had this opportunity when I was growing up because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and if I could have had some guidance and a path on directing me that way, it could have been very helpful.
I'm seeing more and more of these programs being integrated at schools. Talk to me about the impact Cristo Rey, the network, has had in communities across the U.S. I know there's a chunk more than 30 Cristo
Yeah.
Rey campuses, correct?
Yes, it originated
Okay,
in Chicago in 1995, and
right.
we are now upwards of 40 schools across the United States. So, with those programs and what they've done, because they've established these relationships with different universities, different companies for workplace programs, our students benefit from that, right? Because they are part of that Cristo Rey network. It's not just being part of Cristo Rey St. Viator here in Las Vegas, but they're part of that network. So, if they go across the country, those are transferable skills that they can use wherever they end up. So yeah, being part of the network is a very big benefit, especially when it does come to college time when they are making
Right.
decisions on college. And the network has built these relationships with universities to where our students really get looked upon because they are in the Cristo Rey network. So,
Right. How does a curriculum like this one help, and why is it important for students that come from low income families? Why is a curriculum like this so critical?
uh, great question. So, the public school system here, I grew up here. I'm a public school system child. I came through the whole thing. I attended UNLV. Um, what Cristo Racing Fighter does is it gives these kids the opportunity to change the trajectory of their life, right? 91% of our students are first time to go to college within their family. So we're giving them this opportunity that they might not have if they stayed in the public school system, right? So we have several families that have come in and really they've shared their stories with us. I mean, they've opened up and said how this is done. I mean, the students that have graduated come back on the campus and they're sharing their stories of, wow, you guys pushed me and my education was so hard when I was here, but it has prepared me for college. It has prepared me for life. And to hear these stories of our own alumni and graduates is it's just heartwarming. I mean, it's changing the trajectory for families and the opportunity that they get they probably wouldn't get elsewhere. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
And these programs also prepare these students for life beyond academics.
Correct. Yes, it does. It gives them the life skills that they need, right? I mean, they can walk in a room and look somebody in the eye and shake their hand and have a conversation with an adult at 14 years old, which looking back at myself at 14 years old, I don't know if I could have done that well.
Right.
You know, I honestly, I don't know if this program would have even been right for me at 14, but the ones that do take part in it, they buy in 100%. And they are in it because they really understand the big picture of things, that it can change their path. It's going to enable them to fill out applications, not just for college, but
Right.
beyond. They're prepared for life. That's really what we're doing there.
I feel like nowadays, especially, and I think hopefully you can agree with this, exposure for kids has changed. So that also has changed their mindset when it comes to college, or maybe some not wanting to go to college and becoming an entrepreneur. That's also amazing too.
No,
I have a
I
question.
100% agree. Go ahead.
No, no, you're good. You're good. I'm sorry about that. um, what I find interesting about Cristo Rey, you guys integrate purpose and service, but also faith. How do you explain that to a family that maybe doesn't come from that background, but still interested in
Yeah.
enrolling their child
Yeah.
in at this school?
For sure. Another great question. So we do accept all faiths, like I said. We do have theology classes that do teach Catholicism, but they also touch on the other religions as well. We do have all school masses that the students participate in, and obviously those that aren't Catholic don't, take full part in it as the others do. But we are open to all, and that's one thing that the community really, I would like them to realize. That's one of our obstacles is communicating out to the Las Vegas community and beyond of what we offer here at Cristo Rey, because once people find out, it's an easy buy-in, right? Especially
Right.
if they are from low income, they can understand that, hey, my kid can get this exceptional education and this treatment that is going to prepare them for life.
Right. Some of the studies I've been reading, the kids, students that come from low income families tend to not graduate from high school because of X, Y, and Z. They need to go work to provide for their family, completely understandable. How do paid high school work study programs help prevent dropouts?
That's an exceptional question, honestly. So I can answer it in a couple ways. First of all, I'm very proud to say our graduating class all graduated, so that's terrific. At Cristo Racing Fighter, all of our seniors, it's mandatory that they apply to 10 universities. Every one of our seniors was accepted into college. So, that path alone kind of changes things. But in looking at what they're doing to get the education for the 4 years and to do what they need to do beyond that is where really our team under that roof works with the families and the students, from our college team, from our corporate work study team. When those students go to work, they get graded daily, and it takes 30 seconds for the supervisor to do so. But dependent upon that grade, good or bad, my team will pull that student in and say, hey, they said that you worked on this great marketing project today and that you were you did such an amazing job. High five, we want to praise you for it.
Right.
But there's also the other end, right? It's not a perfect world. So our students that get a low number grade that say so and so may have been on their phone and we had to talk to them a couple times about it, we bring them in. So not only do we call them out on those things, but they're learning how to navigate through difficult conversations at a very young age that most kids their age aren't having those conversations. So we're preparing them, again, sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but we're preparing them for life and beyond college. It's just because of the size of our school, and I can only speak to that, we're hands on with them. We know what goes on with them. We know what's going on at home. We
Right.
know what's going on if they have a soccer game Tuesday night and a basketball game on Friday. We know that. And every one of our staff really is there for the right reasons. They believe in these students and they believe in helping these families really kind of change their path.
Now I'm going to ask you one more time, in your opinion, I understand everything you guys do at Cristo Rey, but you've been in the industry for a long time. You've seen students come and go. How do paid high school work study programs help prevent dropouts?
Sure. I think that's part of the buy-in is it's their stake in their education, right? So I think they really fully understand that they are going to work to help pay for the education they're receiving, to help change their life path and where they're going to end up in a few years. And I think just having that responsibility of going to work and understanding and knowing that that is going to benefit them and pay for that education they're receiving, it really keeps them hyper focused on what they have to do when they are at work. We receive so many compliments from our supervisors at the workplace that they say our students are better prepared than the college interns they have. Nothing, I don't believe there's higher praise out there than that, right? Because we're sending 14-year-olds in and they're referencing 20-year-olds, and our students are better prepared for that because of that corporate work study piece. And that's part of the ownership piece, responsibility, dedication, teamwork, and all that stuff that they're building in the workplace.
So, do you believe that work study programs help prevent dropouts?
I do firmly believe that.
Okay.
Again, I didn't mean to tiptoe around that, but it's different because I don't think it can necessarily work everywhere. I really don't, just because of the size of our school district here. This couldn't be something they implement in Clark County School District because of the size of it, right? We are a niche high school here. The fact that they can receive this wonderful education, work, and receive the benefits and the opportunities that present itself for each family, I think that differentiates us from everybody else.
Right. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Now, you mentioned how these students, they have to go to work, whether it be at a local casino. How do you guys pick and choose which students go where, and what's the benefit of having all this exposure to different industries?
Sure. Great question. So there is a vetting process with our students. So all the incoming students that just completed our ACES program, we meet with them and we ask them what their interests are, where they would like to go to work. And again, it's not a perfect world. Everybody can't say we want to work in the casino, and we can only place so many there. We only have so many partners. So there is a vetting process, but we also know our partners so well that the different departments that they have to offer might be something that can be intriguing to those family or to those students. We do actually, we're in the process when I go back to the office today, we're aligning our students with those jobs. So it's placement day at our place. And that's how we do it. I mean, there's a vetting process. We speak with our partners about, kind of personality traits that they want, especially new partners,
Right.
about what they're looking for and what departments our students are going to be working in. And then we align them. And again, like I said, it's not a perfect process. There are students that go and say, whoa, this is what I thought I wanted to do, and this
Right.
is what I want to do. But they do stay for the year. They are committed for that year, just like real life, right? I mean, you made a commitment, you're going to be there, and then we can reevaluate it when it's time to reevaluate. So there is a whole process that we do.
And it helps them go through the emotions of having a good day, having a bad day, and not to have that mentality, I'm just going to give up, I'm just going to
Right.
leave.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
That's
that's
very
exactly
important.
it. For sure. No, those are the little things that you can't put like a dollar amount on, right? I mean, those are
Right.
the traits that they're learning at such a young age that, hey, I need to learn how to navigate through these things. And now that they can do it at this age, they take that skill set all the way through life. I mean, it's truly incredible.
Can these work study programs contribute to building brighter futures for our students?
Yeah, another good question. So we all know there's needs in the workforce right now, right? So we address those needs. And, I met with a company 2 weeks ago that was like, hey, I could really use some help in my human resources department because this, and this. So when they come to us with that, now we go back to our team like we're doing today and saying, okay, they have needs in human resources. How can we assist them? So really addressing that workforce need now and getting these students assigned and into the workforce, it benefits not just our students, but it benefits the employer as well. So we basically work as a staffing agency. So they are getting these students. We bring them to and from work. We run 2,800 routes a year, so there's no transportation issues. Our kids get dropped off, they show up, they work, we pick them up, we take them back. And it's, again, aligning and learning those workforce issues that need to be addressed here in Southern Nevada because it is an issue. It is an issue, and we're part of the answer and solution for that.
Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty for people, employers, small businesses,
Sure.
you name it. So, how can work study programs make the U.S. more economically competitive?
That's an interesting question, and I'm going to have to come up with an interesting answer, aren't I?
You just speak from the heart.
That's all I know how to do.
Exactly. That's all we can do.
Yes, 100%. So I just think with the shift in our world and the needs that are out there for these workforce solutions, again, not just in Southern Nevada, but across the country, we're seeing it everywhere.
Right.
I mean, I'm on these calls with the Cristo Rey Network. This is going on in every city that we have a school in. The fact that we can provide a solution for the workforce is huge. But again, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer for it. I just think that, we are here. I want people to know that we are an option and a solution and that we can help really build the workforce from the ground up right now because we're sending these kids to work in there.
Now, you mentioned how you guys partner with different companies. Do you see that changing and evolving as time goes on? Because obviously the workforce changes and it's changing dramatically right now. What's the vision?
Well, again, the vision is best case scenario to find people that buy into our program, that understand what we're doing at Cristo Racing Fighter, and want to help these families and students. We have such a wide range of partners where our students go to work at, whether it's hospitals, car dealerships, veterinary offices, law firms. We have some that work in government offices, the consulate of Mexico. I mean, it's such a wide range that there's so much opportunity out there. And where my window sits in my office, I can look out and I see the Vegas Valley. And all that does to me is light a flame for me with the opportunity that sits out there for our
Right.
students to go to work because these partners, again, our biggest obstacle is getting the word of Cristo Racing Fighter out there because once people understand what we do, it's very easy for them to be a partner and buy into it. We're very fortunate Vegas Golden Knights are on board. And we've met with the athletics and we're working on, I mean, this is a booming town, especially in sports and,
Right.
getting their partnerships and certain things like that. I mean, it's just my goal, best case scenario, is to have so many jobs that all of our kids can go to work every day. And, we're at a place where they do go to work, but we also send a lot to nonprofits in the Las Vegas Valley that need assistance. So we do have certain partners that, for example, they can't go to work there and they say, we don't have work for your students or we have an age limit, they have to be 18 to work here. They will sponsor a team and they can say, well, listen, we'll pay for a full team of students, but will you donate them? This is our nonprofit of choice. So we reach out to that nonprofit and say, we know you need help. I was in the nonprofit world for quite some time and I know all of them can use help. So we have our students placed that way as well. So there's a lot of different options to work with us. But again, what we really want to do is give back to the community, whether it's a workforce answer or a solution with nonprofits.
And these partnerships, that's how Cristo Rey gets paid, and you guys are able to pay a good portion of the students' tuition.
Correct. That's exactly right.
Um, let's go back to talking about the school district, how it takes a team to make change. In your thoughts, what can the school district do to establish a successful work study program? I know you said the school district is massive, which 100%, but you're born and raised here. You've seen it all. What are your thoughts?
I think Clark County School District got very big and I guess for lack of a better term, hard to manage. So to try and implement the program like we have, I think would take quite some time to number one, get it off the ground. I don't think you would have 100% buy-in by any means. I would love to see them offer that for students that need that, um, whether it be, just even for them to have that job in a workplace and learn those skills, or I don't know. I really, I wish I had a better answer for you, Ozzy. The school district is so large that in order for this to really work there, it would take some time to put that into place and to try
Right.
to navigate through. We've been fortunate from out of the gate. We had some very good support and partners that were our founding members and founding sponsors and partners that have continued on our journey with us and really continued to really grow that business for us. So it would be difficult for Clark County School District to really try and establish those relationships to get this thing moving.
Right. I know the school district offers CTE pathways. What's the difference of CTE and work study programs? What's the difference?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference is, like I said, with our work study program, that those funds directly pay for their education, right? So they're going to work for that. And uh, again, I'm not 100% familiar with exactly how CTE works, but I think that's the biggest difference is those students for Cristo Racing Fighter go to work and money earned pays for their education. And that's the biggest difference for sure.
That you know of, that
Yes,
you're.
I know of. Yeah.
So I'm glad that you brought up college. How might these work study programs be beneficial for students who don't want to go to college?
Yeah, yeah, and again, another good question. I mean, we have students that want to go into trade, and we've had students in the past that have gone into the military or the police academy, and so on and so forth. Those that I have spoken to that have come back onto campus have stated that the work study program prepared them for the reasons of commitment and dedication and working with a team setting and being prepared for real life. And if college is not the answer for them, we, of course, we want every one of our students to go to college and get a degree and start life, but we also are realistic and understand that, it might not be for everybody. And so we really try and guide them down a path that they can have a successful life in. And I think we've been good navigating through that.
Why is it so important for students at Crystal Ray, because they start during their freshman year? Why is it so important for them to consider the benefits of life in college? Being part of this work study, it prepares them also for college in a way. The benefit, the long term view here,
Right.
your thoughts.
Well, again, it's hard to see, right? When you're 13, 14 years old.
But you see it.
I
You
see it
see it.
for sure.
Exactly. So you.
And that's part of what we really want to get these families to understand. So there is an admissions process. It goes beyond just the income. So there's an interview process as well that I was fortunate to sit in on some interviews this year. And, it's straight up with the students. We take the student away from the parents and a team interviews the students and a team interviews the parents. And then we bring them all together and have one at the end. And during that time is when we really get them to understand what their buy-in is here and what this corporate work study offers and what it means to be a Cristo Racing Fighter Royal. And, we do have some, I mean, like I said, it's not a perfect world. We do have some
Right.
walk out of that interview and go, whoa, like, this is not for me. And then we have probably 98% of them that walk out and go, this is life altering. This is life altering for my daughter or my son. This is life altering for our family, and we're in. We're in. So that's
One
what
of
I
the one of the students I spoke to when I went to the campus told me this is hardcore.
yeah. No, it's not all rainbows and unicorns. That's for sure. Because there are expectations there, and we are college preparatory, so we do push them. We get them prepared for college, and it's a tough gig. But those that have come through, I mean, we see where our students are placed and what they're doing now in the world. And again, we were built in 2019, so we've only had a couple graduating classes. But seeing what they're doing at the schools they are at is it's just it's insane to me. I am very blessed and fortunate to do what I do every day.
I was also reading Crystal Ray, and you mentioned too how you guys target low income families. Just low income families. I know it's open for everyone, but why? If you can
Well,
explain that.
honestly, that is why we intentionally built in North Las Vegas because there's a community in need there. And when we started in Chicago in 1995, the first one was built in a very low income sector of the city of Chicago. And when it was built to support those low income families, to give them that chance to change their life. And I think, well, I don't think, I know that that was the model of what we were doing here when this school came to fruition. We had a lot of backing. It took many years to get this thing funded and built. And
How many years?
you know what? I wish I had a true number for you, and I don't want to make
Hmm.
something up, but I can tell you um, it was quite some time. It
Okay.
was quite some time, yeah. And, you know, like I said, we were built in 2019 with the intention of being in that low income area to give these families a chance, to give these students that opportunity to really go on and do some great things and then learn not just workforce skills, not just life skills, not just how to go to college and attend classes, but then to give back to your community. And that's ultimately what we want to see.
Yeah, a lot of the kids I spoke to, they want to become an advocate of some sort,
Yes.
help themselves, help others,
Yeah.
and that's beautiful to hear from such young students that are trying to just survive and thrive in this world, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot out there. And again, I'll just share really quick. Our supervisors become their mentors in the workplace, right? So, I mean, we have a lot of our partners hire our students over summer because they don't want to bring somebody in for summer to cover. So they'll hire our students on and they'll work there over summer before they go back to work study program. We
That's
also,
good.
yeah, and then at the end of every year, we have what's called Talk About It. So it's taco about it. We invite the supervisors and the families onto campus. This past year in April, we had over 900 people on our campus, and each student had to present what they learned that school year. And their families there, their supervisors there. I was covered in goosebumps. There were tears all over the building. It was such an incredible energy in that building because all things were kind of culminating that night when we did that, because you have the families now meeting their mentors that their students are going home and telling them, oh my gosh,
Hmm.
I worked with so and so and I worked on this project today. And just to see it all come together, and we people are bringing flowers and gifts, and it's really rewarding. And these kids are just they're very special. They really truly are.
And mentors like that influence student success.
Yeah, yeah. Because they
I
can
always
relate.
remember my mentors.
Hey, me too. And again, I grew up playing soccer, and I had a couple coaches that were so influential on me that I'm still in touch with to this day. That, they just, the importance of that. I mean, you
I
need
do.
somebody that you can look at that I can see myself in, right? Because it's one thing to go to work and you're not going to be working with the CEO. You probably don't relate with that CEO, but that supervisor or mentor kind of sees themselves in you, and then they help guide you through that.
Right. Let's go back to how students go through this interview process to attend Cristo Rey. A lot of these students coming from low income families. If you're able to share, obviously don't share names or anything like that. What's the commonality when they go and interview these kids come and interview? What's their reason? What's their why? What are you seeing?
Yeah, no, and I can share with you from the input I've had because we've had meetings to talk about this. And honestly, they want change. They felt like they were getting left behind at their current school. Our admissions team does a very good job of working with, like I said, those 10 surrounding schools, but also working at different locations around town. We do some advertising on Hispanic radio stations to get the word out about Cristo Racing Fighter because, like I said, that's key to it. And the common denominator is change. They want an option that's different than what they have. They want an option that's going to better their family and their student educationally, college bound, and beyond. So I think that's the option that Cristo Racing Fighter gives them is, again, like I said, when people understand what we do, it's a very easy buy-in. They're like, wow, how do I not know about this? And that's really it. I mean, I think that they see the opportunity for change, for a different path. And again, real quick, I'll share with you when our ACES program started the first week of June, when we had the new students on campus, I spent some time in the classrooms and I was looking at these kids and they were scared. You could tell they were like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? By the time we have what's called our tie ceremony at the end, where they get their tie that they wear to work and all
Right.
that stuff, 2.5 weeks later, they were different kids, and you could tell the confidence levels there. They were coming up to me and starting conversations, and day one they wouldn't look me in the eye. They're walking down the hall away from me, and by the end of it all, they're coming over and we're talking about all things music, sports, school, everything. And
Right.
it's great to see that. I mean, and that's the thing that gets, I think, every one of our staff members out of bed every day when they see this transition and the change and everything that it brings to these families.
Kids, they're so involved, right, when it comes to their work study. My concern as a parent is the balance when it comes to academics, making sure the math homework is done, literature, language. What's the balance? And also to self care. I think that's really critical, especially nowadays when a lot of our kids sadly live on social media.
Right.
So what's the balance? How do you guys have that open conversation?
Well, and again, this is a direct reflection on our staff and the corporate work study team. We know what they're doing. So my corporate work study team works so closely with our school staff regarding grades with the teachers. They have meetings about, say, student number 5 is not doing well in this math class. So we'll talk to student number 5 and say, hey, you know, what's going on? How can we help? There's after hours stuff where they come in. Uh, and again, because we're on such a small scale, we're hands on. We know what's going on with them. We know whether it's something in the classroom or we try and have to give them that balance of what they need. And we also have mental health facility under our roof to where we have an advisor there that they can go to that we do refer students to that if we think there is a deeper issue with something, they can go in and we can address that because we know how prominent mental health is in the world we're in today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a scary world out there, and any kind of guidance can help. And that's I think how we find that balance between education and work. I mean, at the end of the day, they're out of school 1 day a week. So those other 4 days, yeah, we're packing their classes with some stuff.
Yeah.
They are so wonderful about reaching out for help. They are comfortable enough with the team that they can go and ask for the help that they need, and we provide that to them. So
Thank you for sharing that. And kids are resilient.
they are,
Kids are resilient. They find a way. If they're
yeah,
passionate about it, they'll find a way.
yes.
Uh, how do work study programs bridge academic learning with real life? And I don't want you to focus just on Cristo Rey. I want you to focus as a whole.
No, absolutely. I think, again, it doesn't matter if one of our students are working at McDonald's or in our corporate work study program or anybody, wherever they work, they have to understand and get the support while they're in school from that workplace. I truly believe that. And I can just share my own story. I was growing up, I worked in a print shop of all things, and I worked there, and my boss would be like, how are your grades? Well, I'm going to talk to your father. Tell me how your report card is. That kind of support, if you're getting that, I don't care where you're working, if you're getting that and someone is really pushing you and helping you and guiding you through the process, it can help. So, I mean, to me, I kind of use workforce like sports. That's what I can at least compare it to because growing up, I played soccer, and I can just tell you, soccer showed me dedication, teamwork, commitment, hard work, the benefits of the hard work, and really establishing that core that I take to work with me every day. of being there on time, getting things done, and working. And I think that's what the any kind of work program can do to set those kind of guidelines and a base for any student that is.
A student that's coming from a school district, a public school district, what are some challenges they could face entering a school, private, that is required of them to be part of the work study program? What are some of the challenges they could face? And again, not just Cristo Ray.
Of course, of course, of course. I just think the students really need to understand that it's different, right? And they really, once they wrap their brain around the simple fact that a work study program can benefit them long term, I think it's pretty simple. But I will share, I have seen kids come in the door that aren't prepared, and kids that are scared and really don't fully comprehend what they're getting into. But I think once it's all said and done and they reflect back, it's so beneficial to them on their long-term growth through college, through life, through relationships, through everything. And yeah, I just think that the reward outweighs, kind of the what's the word I'm looking for here? Kind of that being scared of walking in the door. The reward at the end of the tunnel, the light at the end of the tunnel, outweighs that feeling of walking in and going, "What am I doing?" kind of thing.
So, can you provide some examples of some of the challenges that you've seen some kids face and they end up just giving up,
Sure.
because that happens too. That happens too. Kids realize that they can't be part of this, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay too.
Yes, and I will reference. I coached soccer for many years as well, and started a nonprofit soccer club for low-income families that could not afford the cost of playing competitively. And I had many of those families that had to pull their kids even with the reward because they had to go to work and they needed that income for their family. And we all know family is the most important thing you can have. And whether it's a soccer family or your own flesh and blood, um, but to not have that support, I mean, it's tough. And these families and these kids just, I don't know, it breaks my heart to see somebody fail no matter what they're doing, especially when I know they put their heart and soul into it. But to see them, it's a multitude of reasons why they can't do things. And for most of these students, they haven't been given the opportunity, right? They don't have the support. They don't have really someone in their corner for them. And that's what I think our world in general needs the most right now, especially with our youth, because they're that next generation that's going to come through and lead our country, whether we like it or not. So we need to do our best to get them prepared to do so. So, yeah, it's in a roundabout way. I hope I answered the question.
No, I appreciate you. So, how can parents get involved in supporting work study programs, different programs, and the mission behind it?
Of course, yeah. Again, they need to do their research in it. We are Cristo Rey is the only one that offers that in the state of Nevada, but I
Yeah.
do know that they can look into other programs internally at their high schools to where it's probably under different verbiage, but they will offer something for students. And again, a lot of it falls onto the parents. And I think a big task for Clark County School District is to get the word out about what those options are for these parents, because for most of them, it's tough to navigate through a website and find the actual information that they need.
Right. Parents just want something quick and easy,
Sure.
and they just want to know that their children are being taken care of and they're loved and cared for,
Yeah.
right? I know that you mentioned you can't really talk about CTE, but do you happen to know what ways can CTE complement work study programs?
Honestly, I wish I knew more about it. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you, Ozzy. I really don't know much about it, only for the simple fact that I've been so hyper focused on what I'm doing.
Right.
But I do know that I can
It's
really,
because you mentioned that a lot of the students that you guys work with ending up going to trade. So that's part of it. So how do you guide those students that want to go to trade?
a simple answer would be we listen, right? So we listen to what their needs are and what they want. We do hold resource fairs on campus where a lot of universities attend, but we also have trade schools there. We also have City of North Las Vegas was there with their police department. We have, I just had a conversation with AMR, with the ambulance company and paramedics. So, I mean, we want, like I said, we just want our students to be successful in life. Of course, we would love for them to go to college, get their degree, and go throughout life with that degree because we know what that would entail and the options that, they're not limited if they don't have that degree. But again, there are many successful careers in the trade world that we are more than open to. And I think when these families, again, when they understand that those options are out there, most don't know that they're out there. Most, they again, you touched on it earlier, social media, I think, really dilutes the water, I guess, because these kids see these things in social media and they're like, oh, that's what I want to do, but there's no path on how to get there. There's
Right.
no there's no guidelines. There's no step by step process, and that's where I think we're lacking. I mean, as great as social media is as a tool, I think it can benefit if used the right way, and I think that that's where this generation really needs that is, especially in guidance with that trade schools, work study, whatever it may be. There needs to be a path and a direct path.
So in a way, they do complement each other
They
in a
do,
way.
yeah, they do, they
In a
do.
way, it's different.
Yes.
Talk to me about how you guys track and measure the success of graduates, because you guys also measure based on leadership skills as well. How do you guys track all that other than just we talk to them and off you go?
Yeah. We keep a whole database of where our students are at, what they're doing in college, where they're attending, what their
What are
grades
you guys
are.
seeing? Anything?
We're seeing that all of our students are still in school. Many of them do go away, but again, many are their families are like, we want you to go to college, but we don't want you to leave the nest, kind of thing. So we do have many that stay local, and that's fine. They go to UNLV and CSN and Nevada State and do those things. But again, because of the size of our school, we're able to stay in constant communication with these students. So, I'll just share a quick story. We had a student that went off to school, got there, and went to enroll for their classes, and the university was saying, no, no, you still owe X amount of money, and they were told that that was covered by the time they got there. Their first phone call was to our college advisor, who got on the phone with their admissions, who got everything cleared up, and that student was able to enroll. So again, there's not many other schools that have the access to someone like that, right? And the fact that that student was so confident that, oh, I know who to call, and this will be addressed. I'm not going to get on a plane and fly back home and make a rash decision here. I'm going to try and get this done. So the tracking that we do, the communication piece, I mean, it reinforces when that buy-in is when they get on our campus that they are going to take that to and through college.
What are your thoughts on the future of work study programs across our state and not just Cristo
Yeah,
Rey? I have to keep reminding you.
I I just again I see how beneficial they are, right? And I was not privy to any kind of work study program when I first interviewed at Cristo Racing Fighter. I didn't know what they did. I didn't know, anything about corporate work study. So I did my homework, and the more I looked into it before I even interviewed, I was like, this is incredible. Why was this not offered when I was young? And I think a big part of it is getting it up and running takes a lot of work. I think that the corporate work study program, whether it's down here or in Reno, I would love to see something on a smaller scale in Northern Nevada maybe launch and see how that can take off and then learn from that and implement it down here in Southern Nevada. But I think the importance of it is, I mean, it's there, it's proven, it shows, we have shown that those students that go through that program, they come out on the backside a different person, and they're better prepared for everything. And yeah, it's incredible. It really is.
So, do you believe it's a program that could continue to grow and
I
not just at Cristo Rey?
No, no, I really do hope it does trickle into Clark
Yeah.
County School District. I mean, just because of the results that we see would carry over with them. I mean, there are so many students and families that could use this. There are so many students and families that can take this and really run with it. And it can, again, open doors that have been slammed shut. It can give them opportunities not just for college, but for workplace and beyond, and establishing and building these relationships with their supervisors and these businesses to where, it helps them navigate through what they want to do for life, right? I mean, I don't know about you, Ozzy, but when I stepped in UNLV as a freshman, I didn't know what I wanted to do. As a
Mm-mm,
sophomore,
yeah.
I still didn't know what I wanted to do. So it took me a few years until I found my way. And, a program like a corporate work study program could have really helped me navigate through that before I set foot on the college.
Right. Now, before I wrap this up, talk to me about how our local community can play a part in the success of work study programs.
Yeah. Again, a great question to close on. So I think, and again, as Cristo Rey's corporate work study program grows, there are businesses in the community that are seeing the benefits of it. And I think their buy-in would be the piece that would be needed to launch anything else on a bigger scale. Because again, we address the need in the workforce. We are not only addressing the workforce need, but we're helping families in need and we're helping students in need. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be on a wide scale like that. But when these businesses understand that there's an opportunity that they can get workforce help, that they can be a mentor, and that they can change the path for these families, that's where I think it needs to grow. The businesses need to buy in. And again, I look out that window and I see all those businesses out there, and I know that they would love help, and I know that they could use help for a low cost, and I know that just providing that mentorship and that guidance for these students, you can't put a price tag on that.
These are opportunities for students to explore their interest and passions, you
For sure.
know?
Yeah, that's
Well,
exactly.
Jason, thank you so much. I didn't even say your last name at the beginning of this, but Jason DiOrio, thank you so much for being with us from Cristo Rey St. Viator. This is the Education Station.
Great day.
Bye.